I remember how archival footage showed the open sides of the armored vehicle, and I immediately understood that this construction hid far more decisions than it seemed at first glance. The question was simple and unsettling: how the U.S. Army managed to win the war of mobility without creating a fully tracked armored personnel carrier for infantry. The answer began back in the late 1930s, when American military planners searched for a compromise between the speed of a truck and the cross-country capability of a tracked vehicle. I traced that the origins of the M3 half-track led to civilian semi-tracked tractors produced by the White Motor Company. In 1940, the U.S. Army formalized a requirement for a vehicle capable of transporting mechanized infantry under small arms fire. The design was extremely pragmatic: front steering wheels, a rear-tracked drive, and a steel hoe without a roof. The vehicle used rear drive through the tracked unit with a classic mechanical transmission offering for forward gears. The power plant was a gasoline, inline, 6-cylinder White 160AX engine producing approximately 147 horsepower. Fuel was gasoline only, with a main tank capacity of about 230 liters and no standard external reserve tanks. The operational range on paved roads reached roughly 300 kilometers, while cross-country range was significantly lower. Armor thickness was minimal, with up to 12 millimeters on the front and around 6 to 8 millimeters on the sides and rear. This armor protected only against small arms fire and light fragments, not artillery impacts. The crew consisted of a driver and commander, while the troop compartment could carry up to 10 infantrymen. The primary standard weapon was the Browning M2 heavy machine gun of 12.7 mm caliber. An additional Browning M1919 machine gun of 7.62 mm caliber was often mounted for supplementary coverage. The M2 offered a rate of fire around 450 to 600 rounds per minute, with an effective range exceeding 1,800 meters. Ammunition included armor-piercing, tracer, and incendiary rounds stored in boxers along the interior sides. I noted clearly that the M3 was never designed as a breakthrough combat vehicle, but strictly as transport under fire. In 1941, the M3 officially entered service with the U.S. Army and quickly moved into mass production. Primary manufacturers included White Auto Car and Diamond T, operating across several industrial cities in the United States. Total production exceeded 40,000 half-track vehicles across multiple variants. The vehicle immediately demonstrated its main advantage: the ability to maintain high speed while operating. Alongside tank units, maximum road speed reached approximately 70 kilometers per hour, which proved critical for operational tempo. I observed that the open top significantly simplified rapid troop loading and unloading during combat operations. At the same time, the lack of roof exposed infantry to mortar fire and aerial attack. The first combat deployments occurred in North Africa during operations in 1942. There, the M3 transported rifle squads, machine gun teams, and ammunition across harsh desert terrain. The half-track suspension performed well in sand, although steering required experienced drivers. I found reports where drivers complained about difficult handling at higher speeds. In Europe, the M3 became the standard transport for mechanized infantry during the Normandy landings. These vehicles delivered soldiers to the edge of the battlefield under the protection of their own machine guns. Often, the M3 was used as a mobile firing platform with additional weapons mounted. Mortar carrier versions appeared equipped with 81mm and 75mm mortar. Anti-aircraft variants were also fielded, mounting multiple machine guns to protect columns from air attack. I emphasized that the M3 never carried a cannon as standard equipment. Its mission was to deliver men, not to engage enemy armor. During fighting in France in 1944, the M3 frequently suffered losses from artillery and anti-tank weapons. Anti-tank rifles and light guns could easily penetrate its side armor. This forced American units to adjust their tactical employment of half-tracks. Troops began dismounting before entering zones of intense fire. Despite losses, the M3 remained an indispensable element of mechanized warfare. I note that German forces respected the speed of American half-track columns. However, the level of protection was considered inferior compared to German armored carriers. In winter conditions, the vehicle suffered from track icing and difficult cold starts of the gasoline engine. In the Pacific theater, the M3 saw limited use due to jungle terrain and high humidity. There it was more often employed for supply, transport, and casualty evacuation. I found data indicating high fuel consumption, which complicated logistics. Nevertheless, the simple construction allowed repairs under field conditions. Spare parts were shared with civilian trucks, which provided a strategic advantage. The M3 became a universal platform rather than a specialized combat machine. This versatility explains its mass production and widespread use. After 1945, the U.S. Army increasingly recognized the limitations of the half-track concept. Combat experience showed the need for fully tracked armored personnel carriers with enclosed hulls. The M3 was gradually withdrawn from frontline service in favor of newer designs. Many half-tracks were transferred to allied nations or used in post-war conflicts. I recorded that some vehicles remained in auxiliary service into the 1950s. Production of the M3 officially ended in 1944. Its successors were built according to a different philosophy of infantry protection. Later, military analysts described the M3 as a necessary wartime compromise. It was not perfect, but it appeared at the right moment. I consistently emphasize that without the M3, American infantry would have moved far more slowly, and slowness in mechanized warfare meant casualties. This vehicle did not win battles by itself, but enabled victories. Loss statistics showed the M3 is vulnerable, yet without it losses would have been higher. Its design reflected the industrial logic of the United States. Produce quickly, deliver quickly, replace quickly. I consider the M3 a symbol of the American approach to war. Not maximum armor, but maximum mobility in mass. This allowed the United States to fight simultaneously on multiple continents. In Pentagon documents, the M3 is often described as an interim solution. Yet interim solutions sometimes shape history. I find irony in the fact that an open vehicle became the foundation of protected infantry transport. It did not fully shield soldiers, but it gave them a chance to reach the battlefield alive. That is the true function of an armored personnel carrier. Not to impress the enemy, but to deliver the human being. The M3 did this daily in dust, mud, and fire. It was not celebrated like tanks. It was not feared like artillery, but without it, the system would not function. I concluded that the M3 was the link between truck and combat vehicle. This link enabled the creation of modern armored personnel carriers. After the war, the half-track concept exhausted its potential, but its lessons remained embedded in engineering solutions. Every modern armored carrier carries traces of the M3 in its logic. I do not call it a legend, but an instrument of war created without spectacle and without romance, yet with precise calculation. That was its secret, not in armor or weapons, but in mass production. The M3 half-track did not win a battle. It won the logistics war. And this is what often goes unnoticed. When I look at these vehicles today, I see not steel, but a decision that worked exactly when it was needed.